Reverend Bronte. Colbert, so good to see you. Say hi, put up a heart or a little note. We'd love to hear where you're viewing in from this morning. Here's some more music from the wonderful Karen Drucker. Her website is karendrucker.com.
Unityathens live stream on Facebook. We're so glad you're with us this morning. Let us know where you are viewing in from if you would like. Or send up a heart or a like. This is Reverend Bronte, and I'm so glad to see you this morning. If love is why you're here, may you give and then receive. If love is why you're here, may you be an open channel. If love is why you're here, may you give and then receive. This is the music of beautiful Karen Drucker. Remember, you can share this live stream with your Facebook page. Be and a beautiful morning to all. At Unity, we love beginning and ending things with prayer, so we begin today's Sunday live stream with a prayer written by Linda Martellowitz-Sett and spoken for you now by one of our prayer chaplains, Martha Cook.
I'm going to read a prayer that I really love, written by Linda Martellowitz-Sett, the Vice President of Silent Unity. Breathing into our hearts together, one with all that is, we silently affirm this truth to ourselves. I know what I am. I am divine. I know what I am. I am divine. Silently repeat this affirmation to yourself and send it as a code of authority into your brain, into your nervous system, into the muscles and bones, into every organ system, into your heart, throughout your being. I know what I am. I am divine. Because I know I am divine, I look never to my circumstance, which is changeable, but I look instead to the changeless truth of my divine nature. I can never be limited by circumstances, by conditions. I can experience conditions, but they are not my identity. They do not belong to me. They do not define me, for I am divine. All that describes God describes my true nature, that I am. Whatever I need to be, I can be because I am. I am divine wholeness, beauty, divine power and strength. I am divine grace, serenity, harmony, reconciliation, joy, audacity, passion, and courage. We take this understanding deeper now into thought and feeling as we devote the next few moments in silence, comprehending and realizing these truths. I know what I am. I am divine. In spiritual realization, I meet the demand of every moment by acting from my true nature, which is divine. I embody the powers and qualities of God. I draw from them in response to every moment's need. So breathing now fully in the celebration of life and truth, I now appreciate my divine mind that knows its true nature. I appreciate my divine heart that knows its unity. I appreciate my divine body that knows its wholeness. I know what I am. I am divine. And so it is. And so it is.
Thank you for that beautiful prayer, Martha. And now for the reading of the Daily Word by Rosemary Segretti. These have been pre-recorded, and we're so grateful to be able to do that.
Today's daily word is pray for others. I affirm truth for everyone I hold in prayer. I am honored by the trust people place in me when they ask for prayer support. As I pray for others, I see each one for whom I pray as divine, and know the truth that each one is a living expression of God. My purpose in prayer is not to focus on the particulars of a situation, but to hold a higher view. As I center in prayer, I hold the vision that all challenging circumstances are moving toward a satisfying resolution in one way or another. I release all thoughts about the situation that prompted the prayer need and focus on the activity of God. As I pray, I see the life, the love, the wisdom, and the power of God at work, healing, strengthening, establishing peace in all those for whom I pray. And from the Philippines, chapter 1, verse 3 to 4, I thank my God every time I remember you, constantly praying with joy in every one of my prayers for all of you. Thank you.
And good morning. It's really good to see all of you. Thank you for those that are letting us know that you're here with us for the first time. Welcome, Melissa. Welcome others that are signing in. I'm Reverend Bronte Colbert, and we have a Unity Nugget today that I will share, and it's from the book In the Flow of Life by Eric Butterworth. We made an announcement earlier this week, and we have been calling people, the prayer chaplains, myself, and some volunteers, letting people know about the unexpected and very sudden transition, the passing of our dear, dear friend and musician, Debbie Schroet. In these times of sadness, yeah, I'll probably cry sometime today again, and I'm okay. But in these times, these teachings are so incredibly important. Every time I've experienced a sense of transition or what we call loss in my personal life, it's these teachings, these unity teachings, these new thought teachings that have carried me through. Because as Martha's prayer mentioned, and as Rosemary reading the daily word mentioned, we are divine. And we focus on that. We are fortunate to have the lives that we are given, and yes, at some point we move forward. And if you had not heard about Debbie, excuse having to do it in a sudden way like this, but we are trying to let everyone know. There'll be a memorial service in the future when we're able to meet together again, because as her wife Terry said, we want to have a big celebration. So, from Eric Butterworth, in again his book, In the Flow of Life, which is wonderful, he says this: when a loved one has passed on, there is an obvious sunset as the light and love of your friend drops beneath the horizon of human communication. As darkness fills the sky, you may be moved with feelings of loneliness and desperation. But the darkness is in our consciousness. There can be no darkness in God or in any expression of God. This loved one has, quote unquote, come to pass. But he or she or they does not move from light into darkness. It is rather a movement through the valley of the shadow of death into the light of a new birth. And death is, quote, brief drifting of a cloud across the road they travel on, through which our loved one passes from sunlight into sunlight. Our beloved is in the flow of life. And he goes on, death is not a dead-end street, either for the one who passes or the one who remains behind. And we can apply this to all of our dear ones and many prominent figures also that have made transitions recently, like John Lewis. Let there be no sad goodbyes. How much better to bid our friend good morning and Godspeed on your way. There's no need to wallow in grief. There are those who hold that grief is a mark of respect, almost like a duty that we should perform. This is nonsense, says Eric Butterworth. Of course, it's natural to have feelings of sadness, but the sadness should be tempered with the joy of knowing that your loved one is in the flow of life, and that he or she or they go onward to meet their good. Any prolonging of grief, any attempt to hold on to one who has passed, is a mixture of guilt and anger, and it is to be totally out of the flow of life yourself. Turn away from the sunset, face eastward to the sunrise of a new day, and walk on. Godspeed, Debbie. We have some announcements. And if you're new, when we meet in person, we're usually, yay, announcements. Our t-shirts are available for sale. You can go to the Unityathens.com website and find out more about that. Peggy Olson has a Zoom meeting group. It's such fun, before the service and after the service. So that'll start at noon today. If you haven't gotten the notice on that, you can check in with Debbie. I see she's watching the live stream, so send her a little note and she can get back to you with the Zoom information on how to join. It's casual. Folks sit and chat and talk and share. No need to get dressed up. And it is on Zoom, and we really appreciate all the Zoom things we are doing, including the Thursday afternoon meetings that I'm holding, our class on Lessons in Truth. We're enjoying that. It's going forward for a few more weeks, and then we will go to the next book by Emily Cady, which is How I Use Truth, which is something great for all of us. There may be some other announcements, and I might have to pop in with them later. Going to move our mic back a little bit. Kevin Thompson, our sound tech and all-around amazing videographer, helper person, is here with us today, and we're adjusting the sound a little bit so you can be sure to hear everything. We're going to play a little bit of a song by Karen Drucker. And again, her website is KarenDrucker, DRUCKER.com. Amazing New Thought musician. We recently sent her a tithe, and I got an amazing letter back just a couple days ago saying how much she appreciates us, that we play her music, that we're supporting her during this time, even though it was a voluntary thing on our part, and that she's just so grateful and sends her love to all of you. So as we play this beginning of this song, All Is Well, rest in that feeling. All is truly well. Life is beautiful and wonderful. We move through it with joy, and the more we keep our thoughts positive and focus on what we do want, the more that shows up in our lives. So easy sometimes to think about what we don't want or what isn't going right. Focus on what you do want. Relax, align with spirit, and let it appear. So as we listen to these words, you might want to chant along. I surrender. I allow. I surrender. Think about your breathing. Taking some deep breaths and then just easily letting them go. Focusing on perhaps your posture. If you can sit straight, we feel that aligns us more. Aligns us more. Continue to think about our breathing. And release. Release any thought of lack or fear or doubt. If you're feeling grief or sadness, let that go for a while. Let it go. if you've forgotten who you are, a divine creation, an infinite reflection of spirit, remember that now. Allow yourself to be that infinite, divine, wonderful, creative being that you are. And breathe and let go. And breathe and let go. So we begin to enter the quiet of meditation. We'll just let this music fade out, Kevin, and then bring it back in at the end, this same song, because I change the instructions all the time. So rest in that peace with me, with thoughts of love in your heart. Perhaps focus on your heart chakra. And again, the breath. In part of this meditation, we will go into deep silence for a few moments. If thoughts come in, you might be aware of them, get back to them later, or brush them aside, or refocus on the breath, the mantra, I allow, I surrender. I allow, I surrender. Taking more deep breaths. Focus on something you're appreciating in your life, something that gives you joy. For in gratitude, I believe we more easily realize our alignment with Spirit, the divine I am, the holy all, whatever you choose to call the divine, infinite Spirit, light of love, everlasting life, holy healer, all that is. We breathe now and center into our core. We let go of any doubt or fear or lack or worry. We lift up our minds and our hearts to the infinite knowledge and delicious knowing that we are divinity walking in the world. That life is unfolding beautifully for us. We offer prayers and love for all those that may be on our hearts and on our minds. We allow that. We surrender to that. We see those beings, those situations, our world blessed in God's light and love. We breathe into that. We turn within on the breath, perhaps mentally listing our blessings. We turn within on the breath and let go. We see blessings on our families and our friends, our dear ones, those that are on our minds and on our hearts. You see blessings on ourselves. You are a divine being walking through the world, blessing it with your grace and your smiles and your thoughts and your love. You are spirit in a body temple, having a spiritual experience in a world that is truly spiritual, even when we may feel challenged to see that. God is in everything. 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 And it certainly is in you. We say namaste. We say, I see the light in you. That place of love and joy and compassion, strength and courage, creativity, divinity, faith, love, imagination, will, understanding, zeal, order. We see that in you. Namaste. So it is. So today we are talking and thinking about satori, kripa, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, and Kurt Vonnegut. Wow, how did all those fit in together? Well, it started with some thoughts. Doesn't everything seem to start with a thought in New Thought? Let's have a new thought. When I was thinking about a lovely poem I had read, and I couldn't remember where I had read it. I love the idea of magic. I love the idea of being able to possibly move between dimensions, dimensional thinking for sure. And I thought, okay, I think that little poem is in a book by Deepak Chopra called The Way of the Wizard, one of my favorites. And I knew I had it in my house. I wasn't sure which bookcase, which is a little problematic to find anything because there's a lot of bookcases in my house. I bet you have a lot of bookcases in your house. But I knew what it looked like. It looked like this. So I thought, well, maybe it's in this room's bookcase, and it wasn't. And maybe it's in the living room bookcase, but it wasn't. And I said, maybe it's in the bedroom bookcase. And I looked at it, and there were all these books, and I didn't see it. Well, I believe in mystical, so I said, okay, show it to me. And just as I moved toward the bookcase, one of my affirmation cards fell from the top shelf. And as I watched it fall down the bookcase, it came to rest exactly in front of my book. That was my woo-woo moment for the day. So anyway, I looked into this book thinking, who wrote the poem I'm thinking about? I know it was about heaven and a flower. So this is the poem. What if you slept, and what if in your sleep you dreamed? And what if in your dream you went to heaven, and there plucked a strange and beautiful flower? And what if I added that. What if, one more, what if when you awoke, you had that flower in your hand? Ah, what then? What then? Can you feel the magic in that? Now, the poem was not written by Deepak Chopra. It is widely believed to be written by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. And no one can quite prove that, but there's some passages from his collective writings that were published after his passing that kind of lead to it. I'm going to read it one more time. What if you slept, and what if in your sleep you dreamed, and what if in your dream you went to heaven and there plucked a strange and beautiful flower, and what if when you awoke you had that flower in your hand? Ah, what then? There could be multiple interpretations of this, and I know you'll bring your own meaning to it. Think about that. What you dream comes into your life, both active, awake imaginings, and I think in your sleep too, because you may wake up tomorrow morning, or perhaps you woke up with this morning and had a great idea that came to you during your dream time, during your sleep. Maybe an idea for a project. Maybe a nudge to call someone. Maybe a song that seems to be calling to you, and then you turn on the car radio later in the day and there it is. Nudges, coincidences, synchronicities. Oh, yes, I believe in that. So perhaps if there's something you're wishing to see in your life, before you sleep, say, show it to me. Show me the answer. Show me how to move ahead with this. Or give me some comfort. Or send me an idea. Or let me know who to call next. We have a live project for you today. If you have it nearby or can easily get it, find a piece of paper and something to write on it with, a pencil or a pen. And we will come back to that. Give you a little time to find that paper and pen. So, what is Kripa? I was doing a meditation with Deepak and Oprah that I had bought several years ago on gratitude and grace. And the theory of that particular 21-day meditation series was that as we give gratitude, we receive grace. That it's a sacred exchange type of thing. Give gratitude, you appreciate, you do those good deeds, I guess we could call them, you receive grace. It fills you up. And that is the consciousness behind Kripa, a type of enlightenment. Kripa is akin to similar beliefs prevalent in mysticism of all traditions, and it's spelled K-R-I-P-A if you'd like to learn more about it. In Hinduism as well, the bestowal of divine grace, or Kripa, is considered an event which catapults a devotee, or bhakta, into a period of intense personal transformation, leading to their enlightenment. Devotional or bhakti literature available throughout India is replete with references to Kripa as the ultimate key toward realizing the spiritual path of self-realization, enlightenment, discovery of that light within. Excuse me. And then that brought me to a word that I couldn't quite remember and finally did, because a dear teacher of mine in ministerial school, Reverend Jim Fife, love you, Jim, who passed shortly after our graduation of that class, told us about satori. And he said in Eastern belief systems, sometimes just being in the presence of someone who is enlightened helps us achieve our enlightenment. And that, for us in that class, certainly applied to Reverend Jim, because we would literally sit in a circle at his feet listening to every word he said, because he was always totally on point with being in spirit, connected to spirit, putting God first. And he was so wise and wonderful. So is that possible? Can we actually become more enlightened just by being around an enlightened one? Well, certainly I think as we continue on our spiritual journey, we touch others with our light, not to enlighten them necessarily, but to show them love. Every person we come in contact with that we smile at, we were talking about this on our Thursday class, just to smile at people, to be aware of the sense of them, the aura of them, especially if they look worried or troubled, just to smile at them. We not only increase our enlightenment, we touch them with that. Not to go around thinking that we are gods anointing people, although in a sense we are with our light and with our love. How else might we achieve self-enlightenment, kripa? Got that piece of paper and that pen? How many of you have read anything by Kurt Vonnegut? He passed away just a few years ago, in 2007. 14 novels, 3 short story collections, 5 plays, and 5 works of nonfiction, and further collections being written after his passing. Found this story, and I love it. In 2006, a group of high school students asked celebrated author Kurt Vonnegut to visit their school. The whole class chose their favorite authors, and I believe 5 of them chose Kurt Vonnegut to send this invitation. It was part of an assignment from their teacher, Mrs. Lockwood, from their teacher, Mrs. Lockwood. He was the only one of all the authors to respond, and while he said he would not be able to make a visit, his inspiring letter made up for it with wit and charm. This is what the letter said. Dear Xavier High School and Mrs. Lockwood and Messrs. Perrin, McFeely, Batten, Moore, and Conquista, I'm assuming this was an all-male, quote-unquote, school. I thank you for your friendly letters. You sure know how to cheer up a really old geezer, he was 84 at the time, in his sunset years. I don't make public appearances anymore because I now resemble nothing so much as an iguana. What I had to say to you, moreover, would not take long. To wit, practice any art, music, singing, dancing, acting, drawing, painting, sculpting, poetry, fiction, essays, reportage, no matter how well or how badly, not to get money and fame, but to experience becoming, to find out what's inside you, to make your soul grow, not growl, grow, to make your soul grow. Is that not enlightenment? Can you feel the energy of that? He went on. Seriously, I mean, starting right now, do art and do it for the rest of your lives. Draw a funny or a nice picture of Mrs. Lockwood and give it to her. Dance home after school. Dance in your kitchen or your living room right now, and you'll fulfill the assignment. Sing in the shower, and on and on. Make a face in your mashed potatoes. Now, not only kids do this. I used to make little mountains of mashed potatoes and put my veggies in there, also called playing with your food. Make a face in your mashed potatoes. Pretend you're Count Dracula. Okay, so pause right there, right now, if you would like. Pretend you're Count Dracula. And say something in a Dracula voice. Do you want to put a little note up on the screen that you're practicing it? He went on again. Here's an assignment for tonight. And I hope Mrs. Lockwood will flunk you if you don't do it. Write a 6-line poem about anything, but he says it must rhyme. Why did he say that? Because tennis isn't fair without a net. So some boundaries, some structure. 6-line poem about anything, rhymed. Make that as good as you possibly can. But don't tell anybody what you're doing. Don't show it or recite it to anybody, not even your dear one or parents or whatever, or Miss Lockwood, okay? So you have a piece of paper in front of you, hopefully, and something to write with. 6 lines, maybe you're doing it already, rhyming. I'm going to pause there, and then I'll give the rest of the instructions. So I have my piece of paper, and I was thinking about my poem when I was out walking the dog yesterday. And even though Kurt says don't share it with anybody, I'll share mine with you just as an example of how simple the poem can be. So I recorded it on my phone because I knew very well I might not remember it when I got home. Okay, here's my poem, 6 lines, and it rhymes. I love to go out in the snow with you in tow. T-O-W. And being the holder of an inner critic like I am, my inner critic said, tow? T-O-W? You're towing somebody? Isn't that sounding rather aggressive and in charge? How about T-O-E? No, you don't want to pull... So don't do that with your poem. Just write the poem. I love to go out in the snow with you in tow. Now, what Kurt said to do, after you've written this beautiful masterpiece that you can't show anybody, tear it up into teeny weeny pieces and discard them into widely separated trash receptacles. You will find that you have already been gloriously rewarded for your poem. You have experienced becoming, I would say, enlightenment, crypta. You've learned a lot more about what's inside of you, and you have made your soul grow. So I'm taking this piece of paper as a reminder, and I'm tearing it up into pieces, not because my poem does not have worth, but because the worth of the poem was in the writing of it. The worth of living is in the living of it. The worth of creating is in the creating, and as he said, to go inside to allow that creativity. You don't have to be a master painter or an acclaimed poet what you are becoming is you. What you are becoming is knowing who you are. You're not tearing that up. You're saying, what I am is an outpouring of me and the continuation of that. I don't hold on to getting a trash. Even though he said widely separated receptacles, I'm going to use one. I'll be running all over the room. What we are doing is letting go of the need for the physical representation of what we are inside. That's what came to me this week from what I read and from what I experienced. I hope you'll do that exercise with the poem, still ripping. But don't stop there. It doesn't mean to rip up the painting you just did. But once in a while, write a poem. 6 lines, make it rhyme. Don't show anyone. Continue. Always, always to become. To shine forth. To make the world an even better place. To find right in what might seem wrong. To celebrate life. To tell the people you care about, often, deeply, with detail, how much you love them. Why? Because God, the divine spirit, the infinitely wonderful, the great I am, the creator, it's in you. It's that divine spark that Unity talks about. It's also in everyone else. You show that. You shine that. You are that. As you walk in this world, in your light, and in your love. Nothing stays the same. But much remains. You are loved. I love you. Say that to someone today, I hope. Namaste. I got little pieces of paper on the floor, and that's cool. It is time now to bless our abundance. If you are a regular contributor to Unityathens, we thank you for that. It's been, 4 months now that since we've been able to meet in person in this sanctuary. We're so grateful to be able to continue these live streams. We're so grateful for the support that we get financially, for the cute and wonderful synchronicities that have come forth, like gifts we hadn't expected or electric bill gone down a third. If you are checking in from another faith or you have your own faith center that you attend, please support them. Please contribute to their ongoing. If you would like to contribute to Unityathens, we have a number of different ways that you can, including PayPal. All of these are available through our website, unityathens.com. We have an easy text number, 706-204-1272, and the PayPal giving. You can also mail in your gifts to our P.O. Box, which is 1662, Athens, Georgia, 30603. Take a moment, if you will, and think of the gifts and the blessings in your life. We call it a sacred exchange here at Unityathens because we know as we give, we receive. As we give, it comes back to us, multiplied abundantly. Pressed down, flowing over. Some of us like to hold our gifts or the thought of our gifts, the thought of our abundance over our heart. And we have a love offering affirmation. I'll say it slowly if you'd like to repeat it after me. Take a breath. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive. I am so blessed. Feel that. I am so blessed. Maybe say it one more time. I am so blessed. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. And so it is. We see you blessed with abundance and well-being. Just a reminder on the announcements. Peggy Olson has a wonderful Zoom group that meets before and after the service. That'll be starting about noon. She can send you the link and information on that if you want to email her or connect with her through Facebook. It's wonderful to stop in and see people in person. I try to get in there for a little bit every Sunday also, and it also meets before the service. We have t-shirts available. They're very cool. I believe we're getting our first order in, and then you'll be able to see how they actually look, which is really exciting. We have our Thursday class on book Lessons in Truth that meets at 1 o'clock. And I'm sure there's some other announcements, but you know what? If you get on our e-newsletter that comes out every Friday evening, you can get all the information on everything that's going on, plus lots of helpful links and quotes and connections to the main Unity website, our parent organization at unity.org. I can feel your energy right through the phone camera today. I'm feeling it. I'm just feeling these waves of love. So thank you for that. Thank you for your blessings. Thank you for being here. We would not have a Sunday live stream if we didn't have participants. Well, I guess we could, but it wouldn't be nearly as much fun. Hope you send up a little note and let us know that you're on. We can't tell who's always on the live stream if you don't send up a little note, but you don't have to. You can have privacy. And thank you. Oh, one more thing. The videos, the training videos from the regional leadership training for Unity ministers in the Mid-Atlantic states are still up and are going to be up. And they are wonderful. I experienced a few of them yesterday, and that's ummas.org. Will you join me in a closing prayer? And then we are going to have the song by Karen Drucker, I send my love over the mountains, I send my love over the sea, I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. So let's take a moment first. Infinite Spirit, excuse me, Infinite Spirit, Divine I Am, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the sunshine and the light and the love. We thank you for all of the experiences of our lives, for this opportunity to be a bright light, a beacon of love, a sharer of goodwill, loving kindness, hope, and joy in this world. Thank you, Infinite One. And so it is. I'm going to bring the globe in, and Kevin's going to play I send my love. Thank you for joining us today. Love and blessings and joy to you.
I send my love over the mountains. I send my love
See blessings on our world,
over the sea.
on every country,
Send my love
on every being,
into the heaven.
on Mother Earth, our flora and our fauna.
Returns to me. I send my love
We send our love.
over the mountains.
Send our love.
I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me.
We send joy.
I send my joy over the mountains. I send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my power.
Send our power. That power to love, that power to understand, the power of loving kindness. We send our power across the globe. Feel your power. Power to live your best life ever. The power to be all that you can be. Walking in this world, creating in this world, loving in this world. We send peace. The peace of understanding, the peace of loving kindness.
Over the sea, I send peace.
The peace of communication. Where there's the appearance of no peace, we send peace. We back it with our power and we send it out. Where there is grief, we send love and understanding. Where there is anger, we send love. Where there is the appearance of illness, sickness, we send healing love. We send faith, knowing things are always getting better. Getting better. Getting better. We bless our children across the globe. We bless all people, our leaders, our country. Feel that love radiating out and returning back to you. Radiating out, returning to you. Feel it. Radiating out, returning to you. Breathe that in. Breathe it out. You are a light in this world. Thank you and namaste.